What's up, guys? Help us reach our goal of 500 subs by hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, like, comment, and share.
What is up, guys? Welcome to the Average Jeepers. I'm Topher, and on this one we're going to show you how to fix your brake light on your dash and how to figure out what's wrong with your Jeep pertaining to your brakes. If you're new to the channel there, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our weekly Jeep videos that we upload weekly. Go check them out. Alright guys, so as you can probably see, I don't know how good it's going to pick it up, but you can see my brake light is on the dash. So anytime your brake light's on, obviously the first thing you're going to want to check is your emergency brake. Make sure that it is all the way down, and it is. This one's all the way up. That's where Cheetos came from. Anyway, it's all the way down, so that's not the problem. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pop the hood. Alright, now you got your hood popped. Next thing you want to do is check your brake fluid, and ours is fine. So the next thing that you can do is see this plug right here on your proportion valve. I don't know if you guys can see, it's right there. We're going to pull this plug out. Alright, so we pulled the plug off the proportion valve. Now let's see if the light comes back on. Alright, so the light went off. So that tells me that the problem is on the proportion side valve and the brake side, not the emergency brake. If yours stayed on and the problem is in your emergency brake, and it could be your switch inside your center console, and it could be your switch inside your center console that tells that your e-brake is on. And obviously if you feel your e-brake dragging, and then you got some issues with your brakes going on there too. But so ours is off now with the sensor unplugged, so our problem is over here. So we are going to be replacing the brake master cylinder. Okay, so the first thing you can do is try bleeding your brakes to see if that helps. My brakes feel real spongy, and I already tried bleeding them and that didn't do anything. So we're going to replace the brake master cylinder. Okay, so the first thing we got to do is take the old one off. Yours will not look like this because I retrofitted a Kia, I think a Kia Sportage maybe? I can't remember. I got it at the junkyard, but when I ran my snorkel, I ran hard pipe underneath it. You can see, instead of that flex fit stuff that is just horrible. So I ran hard pipe, and I had to get rid of my windshield washer reservoir to do that. So it was underneath your fender here if you guys have that problem. So you won't have this. You'll have way more room to work. I'm going to get this out of the way real quick, and then we're going to take the brake master cylinder off. Alright, now that I got that out of the way, we need to break these lines right here off. So I'm going to do that now, and we'll catch back to you when we got those off. Alright, so I'll put something underneath it to catch it before you pull them all the way out. Some might come out. Not much. Good. Not much here. Alright, so we're going to move these out of our way a smidgen. Next thing we got to do is we got to take this nut right here off, and there's one on the other side. Right there. So we're going to take these two nuts off, and that'll let the proportion valve slide forward enough to get these lines completely off. And then there's another nut right back here that we're going to take off, and then this will slide off. So let's get these nuts off now. Alright, so these ones here were 12s, and these ones are 13s. So we got that one. Let's get the one in the back. Alright, let's get these off. Alright, we got that off. Now we should, and we got the back one off. Pull this out. This whole thing should slide. I'm gonna stress to you guys how hard this is to do with one hand. Alright, so I had to pull off the airline here so this could come in enough to fit to go around it. So I got this pulled off. Now we need to take this nut and this nut on the back completely off, and then this will slide off. Let's get at it now. Alright, so I got that one broke free, but it's still being a son of a bitch to turn, so we're gonna hit it with some WD-40. What's up with can of WD-40? Alright, let's go ahead and squirt this one down too. There we go. It's all that sand, man. It gets in those bolt threads. This can of WD is about gone. Oh well. See what that does. Once you get those two pain in the ass nuts off, it should just slide right out. You have to work it around that, but it'll slide right out. So let's slide it out. Alright, so here's the part number for the new one. And there's two options you can go with. The cheaper option, because I'm cheap, is that you reuse your reservoir. And this one doesn't come with one. And it was, I think, $60 cheaper, but it does come with a bench bleeding kit, which is pretty cool. Okay, so in order to get the reservoir off, what we have to do is, if you look, there are two pins right here and here. We need to punch those down and this will pop right off. So we're going to do that now. Alright, so we're going to try to tap it open right here. Okay, so both the keys, their pins fell out. We should be able to work that pretty hard. Get it out of there without breaking it. That's the hard part. Alright, so after a long fight I got it, and what I did was, it was sitting in here like here. I got a screwdriver here between here and here, and just pried off like this with it. Oh, and it popped off. But it took a lot of force and it was pretty hard, so keep that in mind when you purchase one. So it definitely went in the new one a lot easier than it came out of the old one. So it just pops in there, and there's only one way to put it. And then we'll put our pins back to hold it in place. And then we will bench bleed it. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take the kits that it gave us with these ends and the tubes, and we're going to put the tubes on the ends. We're going to screw them in here, and then we're going to run it back in here, fill it with brake fluid, and then we're going to pump it with our hands. Okay, so you screw them in after you screw the tubes on. Get the tubes on the ends and screw them on just like that. And then we'll run them back up into here. We're going to fill this with brake fluid first. Alright, now we're going to fill it up. Okay, we'll take our tubes, put them back in here. Now we're going to pump it. We need to add more fluid. We got a bunch of crap in our brake lines. This reservoir is probably gross, so might not be a bad idea to get a new reservoir too. Alright, once you bench bleed it, we're going to put it back in place. And now we're going to put them pain in the ass nuts back on. Now we'll come back when these nuts are on. Alright, so once you get your nuts tight, slide this bracket back in, get your lines back in, start tightening those up. Get that tightened, and then put your 2 cap nuts to hold your proportion valve on. Alright, once you get everything hooked back up, make sure you're filled back up with brake fluid and get somebody to help you, because now it's time to bleed the brakes. Alright, so we bled the brakes, and remember, when you bleed your brakes, always go furthest away, start with furthest away from your brake master cylinder. So we went passenger backside, driver backside, passenger front, and then driver front. Hope this video helped you guys out. Make sure, keep an eye when you're bleeding your brakes on your fluid, and I'll make a video on bleeding brakes, but this was just how to replace the brake master cylinder.
Pinacha.